Hey, I just wanted to do a video real quick while I'm waiting for this thing to reboot and my laundry to finish and for my water to finish distilling and all the fun stuff I got going on while I'm trying to go to bed. Um, so I wanted to recap where I was at with the DirectX 12 and the multiple GPU thing, trying to get this like really optimized. So I mentioned that I bought an eGPU that I was going to be using for my mini PC to like supplement streaming movies and stuff on my TV, or if I wanted to play a game on my TV, whatever. Um, and how I bought one and it was busted when I got it, so I decided to upgrade it. Right. So part of that upgrade was buying a new graphics card. So I got another 3060 Ti, right? And then I was thinking, and I mentioned this in the other video. I know but it's worth repeating because it leads into the story. Uh, the two 3060 Ti's together in my PC might be better for multiple reasons. The memory speed matches each other. So if it works anything like the RAM, where if you have different speed drives or different speed, different hardware that runs at different speeds, it goes to the lowest common denominator and runs the whole system at that lowest speed to avoid conflict because that's how it can do it. The slower speed can't speed up. To avoid that possibility and to capitalize on the fact that I can overclock my OC, um, my other 3060, I wanted to take the two TIs, put them in here, take the OC out, have it stand alone in my bedroom, have that overclocked, and have the two TIs with the matching VRAM clocks working together, hopefully at their highest speed possible. Right? So it made sense in my head, and I decided to go ahead with that plan. So I got my new graphics card in, another used one. Well, I got it today, and I installed it in my computer. And I went and played PUBG real quick just to see how my graphics were with two 3060 Ti's working together. And as I expected, my frames per for frames per second increased back up to where they were before when I was just running on one graphics card that was overclocked. Now, that made me happy. I was like, all right, cool, working together. I'm kind of losing that um, handicap, inefficiency of having two graphics cards working on what could be handled by one in a linear fashion, right? And splitting the workload unnecessarily, slowing it down with that inefficiency. That's what was going on in my head as far as the reasoning for it. But in 3D, I had a benefit where in 2D I had a drag, in 3D I had a boost, and I was, you know, punching above my weight, so to speak, in the graphics I was able to produce, and I was happy. But when I put the two 3060 Ti's in there and my 2D sped up, I went to check my 3D and it was worse. So it didn't make sense to me. You know, that really the only thing that the OC had going for it over the TI is its, uh, you know, memory. It has a larger memory to it. So I did a little bit of research, and apparently there's a vbios, basically the firmware of the memory card, not the memory card, the video card, um, for the 3060 was basically set up for the DX12 sharing VRAM through the PCIe slot. And the 3060 Ti, the firmware on that card was not. So I was not getting the benefit of, even though it was, because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, it's less VRAM, but I still have twice the VRAM of a 3060 Ti. That, I should at 12 gigs of VRAM above and beyond what a high end new card will give you, significantly so, because it's generally considered not that important. So it didn't make sense to me. But when I found out, okay, it's not set up for that, I forgot what that feature was called, but it was specifically to enable the memory sharing through the PCIe slot. And that was specifically not enabled on the TI card. So fortunately, it's just an update away, and that update's going on now, along with laundry and other things, which should, and I say should because I'm remaining optimistic, not only put me back to where I was as far as graphics quality, loading time, and all that stuff in 3D, but probably even improve both the 3D and the 2D graphics quality. I'm optimistic on that because it makes a lot of sense as to, okay, I was running basically linear on one card, not really, but kind of, because I wasn't sharing memory. That's probably pretty important for the communication of the two cards working together. So with this update, I'm going to say it should be all 110%. And it kind of just regurgitating the thought process. The fact that the 3060 OC, that was enabled to share VRAM, but the 3060 Ti was not. But since the 3060 Ti was the more powerful card, that was doing the processing anyway. It was doing the render. It was doing the heavy lifting. The 3060 was basically sharing its memory. It makes sense. So getting the 3060 Ti vBIOS updated, I think, is critical for using it with the DirectX 12. And I think with this update, I'm going to see improved frame rate in 2D and 3D. Well, in 3D I was maxed out, but now I'm maxed out and I'm getting some artifacts, some graphic glitches that weren't there before. So hopefully that's resolved. I stay maxed out and I have headroom for, even more complex games in the future. But yeah, that's without confirmation yet. I'm going to say that's definitely what it was because it makes perfect sense.